Well, the next place is 139. Let us never, that means not even one time. We're right in the middle of 139, or the second sentence. Let us never bear testimony against health reform by failing to use wholesome, palatable food in place of the harmful articles of diet that we have discarded. Once we have given up something, we give it up permanently. We never go backwards. And if we do go backwards, we get back on the train again and we start out again. Going backwards is backtracking. We're told that if Daniel and his 3 friends would have compromised even one time, it would have been their first step to be to the downward spiral, to be just like every other young man. You have a book, sir? You have a book? Oh, okay. Does anybody not have a book? Okay. So when we see this word never, God means never. And he means not even once. We don't put on the table something that we know is harmful. If I know that soy sauce and Bragg's aminos, do you guys have Bragg's aminos here? You do? Yeah, okay, Bragg's, the soy sauce substitute. So if that's MSG, it's pure MSG, like 100% MSG. If you look on the sodium content, and it's like per teaspoon, it's like 135 milligrams or something, that is pure MSG. And in the States, it used to say on the bottle, no MSG added. They got away with that because it's not added. It is MSG. Because it is MSG. So they've since then, I don't think they have that on the label anymore, but they had for many, many years. So if I know that soy sauce and tamari and Bragg's are MSG, which they are, then it is my duty to not serve that. It's my duty to, when I am feeding people at my table, whether it's my husband, my grandparents, adult children, church family, any strangers, visitors of any kind, God holds me accountable for what I put on the table. If my husband chooses to go to Chicken Inn, which he doesn't, thankfully, but if he did, it is not my place to tell him that he can't put that on the table. You see, God doesn't hold me accountable for his choices. So us husbands and wives, we have to give each other a lot more grace than what we do. We want to be telling each other what they shouldn't be and should be eating, but when you are out of town and they want to go to Chicken Inn, you can bet that they're going to go to Chicken Inn and they're just going to eat it when you're not around, so they don't have to hear you. We don't want to create that kind of relationship with our family, especially our spouses. I am not responsible for what my husband puts on the table. He's got just as much of a right to put on the table as I do. And I want respect for how I eat, and I need to give him respect for how he eats. So this is a dual thing, and remember that we are never to allow health reform to come between two people, especially spouses. So whatever it is, I'm responsible for what I put on the potluck table. I'm responsible for what I choose at a restaurant. I'm not responsible for what everybody else does, even if they eat pork and they want lobster. Okay? So they eat pork and lobster. You know, it's not my business. So we let people do what they're going to do, and at meal times we have pleasant conversation. And we don't look at people's plates. Who cares what they eat? I have no idea how people in my church eat, and it's not my business. I don't care. What I do is I educate, and whether people listen to me or not, it's not up to me. You know, it's God's message. So let us allow some grace with people. The next place is, this is paragraph 157. And it is the last paragraph. And the paragraph starts out with, the digestive organs should never means never, be burdened with a quantity or quality of food which it will tax the system to appropriate. So that means even if we are eating of the most wonderful health reform food, and say we're going to have a 2-day fruit fast that we learned about last night with fasting, that means that I cannot even overeat on fruit. No matter how good of a quality that food is, it is my duty to make sure that I'm not overeating. So the digestive organs should never, I don't know about you, but at birthdays, we have what's called a Canadian Thanksgiving. It's a nationwide holiday. There's also a nationwide holiday called Thanksgiving in the United States. You guys don't have that here, but it's a time where people eat turkey and families get together. It's kind of like Christmas without the gifts. Everybody in the nation, it's a day off for everybody. And always on birthdays, Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, always, after the end of the meal, I'd be like, oh, I never want to eat again for the rest of my life. You ever feel like that? Or am I all by myself? When we overeat like that and we feel like we never want to eat again for the rest of our life, that's a sin. We're told the digestive organ should never be burdened with a quantity or quality of food which it will tax the system to appropriate. That it takes me hours and hours just to even feel like I can even take a drink of water anymore. So it's not the quantity alone. So whether it's quantity or quality, we are not to overtax our system. We are never to overeat, even of the most healthful foods. The next one is 171, right in the middle of that first paragraph. So you'll kind of have to keep up with me here. 171, right in the middle of the first paragraph. Bread should never have the slightest taint of sourness. So this is, if it is sour, if it has been fermented, if it has been sitting for too long, we are not to eat it. Never. It is, give it to the pigs. And many times it's not even fit for them, because I've known of people who have actually had pigs as pets, and they have given them the sour bread, and they have died from it. So really, it's not good for anything, because pigs are actually made as the vacuum cleaner of the earth, and they generally can eat anything. Farmers used to put pigs out in the field with cows and horses and to clean up after them, to keep their fields clean of their waste. And now we eat pigs. Now they have farms of pigs, and you just eat the pigs. So it should never have the slightest taint of sourness. The next one, 193. Second sentence, or third sentence. Dumb animals would never eat such a mixture as is often placed in the human stomach. That's like a rebuke to us. That should be like embarrassing to us. Be like, really? Even animals would not eat what we eat? Dumb animals would never eat such a mixture. That should take me to my knees and say, Lord, how am I treating my system? Am I eating something that is disregarding your laws of health? What is it that I'm eating, or how am I eating that even an animal will not eat? You see how I'm making this about me? And you need to make it about you. Oh, we all have so much learning to do. We all have a lot of changes to do too. We're in 196. And the last sentence in that section: God never designed that the present woe condition of things should exist. It has been brought about through the gross violation of nature's laws. Again, that takes us right back to the Garden of Eden, the sin of intemperance, the sin of diet, the sin of disobedience. And I'm actually working on a sermon how that one sin violates all 10 commandments. That one sin violated all of the 10 commandments. I'm almost done with it. Not quite. God never wanted us to live like that. That was never his intent for us. Number 199. So 199, first sentence here. Disease never comes without a cause. The way is prepared and disease invited by disregarding the laws of health. And yet, we look at how Jesus walked among the sick. We see that he walked among the lepers, and yet he never caught leprosy. You see, disease is because of the violation of the laws of health, not because I don't have a drug in my system. God has made us and created us with a very robust immune system. That is the most powerful defense that we have. But the reason that so many of us got sick, now I am not finger pointing, I'm just, let's take a flight in the sky and let's look at the big picture here. I mean, we do live in a world of sin, but the reason that we get sick is because we're violating the laws of health. It's not because of the virus. It's not because of the germ theory. There's germs everywhere. They're inside of us. They're on our skin. When we shake hands, when we hug, we are inviting other germs upon us. I know you guys don't have bugs here like we do in Canada and the US, but we happen to love our dogs, and we kiss our dogs. We hug our dogs and our cats. And people even hug and kiss their pet pigs, their pet cows, their pet turkeys, their pet hens. They kiss them, they hug them. And so wherever we are, we have, there's viruses, there's bacteria, we have to learn to live in a symbiotic relationship with these things. Because as soon as we use this hand cream to take away the virus and everything that's on our hands, now we've just removed our greatest defense system. We need to live in harmony with these things. And yet, what were we forced to do before we even went into church, when we went into a restaurant? For those of you who are allowed to, we weren't allowed to go in if you didn't have that thing. Yeah, you just wash your hands with soap and water. And yet, before you did anything, if you were in a public place, you went to the store, they had that little pump there that you had to, put in your hands. That stuff is just like poison. Why do we put that on our hands? And so this is to point out that disease never comes without a cause. What were we told to do? Mask up. Violation of the law of health. Social distance. Violation of the laws of health. We need one another. Don't go outside. Violation of the law of health. There was so many things that violated directly the laws of God. Don't meet together in church. A violation of the law of God. It's not because we can't poison a poisoned body back to health again. How do we put poison into a poison toxic body and expect health to come back out of it? It just doesn't make sense. There's a reason, and it's because we're disobeying the laws of health. It's not because we don't have a drug in our system. I'm in, let's see, I'm in paragraph 204. The title under Rich Food and Fevers, number 204, where it starts, there is no treatment. You see that? There is no treatment which can relieve you of your present difficulties while you eat and drink as you do. You can do that for yourselves, which the most experienced physician can never do. Regulate your diet. You see, we're not sick because of germs. We're sick because of a violation of the laws of health. And when we recognize that it's a violation of the laws of health, we don't have to fear diseases anymore and pestilence and all the diseases that are going to be coming upon us pretty soon. Because you can bet that we're going to have another test. There will be another test. We don't have to fear if we regulate our diet and our lifestyle and we are in harmony with the laws of health. I am on, let's see, so big here, I can't see my, so I'm on number 204, and I'm going to the, you see the title, it says The Price of a Good Meal, and the second paragraph, thousands have indulged their perverted appetites, have eaten a good meal, as they call it, and as a result have brought on a fever. Or you see how diet is related to health here? It's not because of a virus or some other acute disease and certain death. That was enjoyment purchased at immense cost. Yet many have done this, and these self-murderers have been eulogized by their friends and the minister and carried directly to heaven at their death. What a thought. Gluttons in heaven? No, no, such will never enter the pearly gates of the golden city of God. Such will never be exalted to the right hand of Jesus, the precious Savior, the suffering man of God, whose life was one of constant self-denial and sacrifice. There is a place appointed for all such among the unworthy, who can have no part in the better life, the immortal inheritance. We are considered self-murderers. We commit suicide when through our fork, one bite at a time. And though we have been eulogized into heaven, God says otherwise. That's a tough one. And such will never. Now again, this is post 1844. The people pre 1844 were not held accountable to this because this was not in existence at that time.